In the spring days of 1944, as the shadow of war still loomed over Europe, in a small damp attic in London, a Polish man named Roman Czerniawski was diligently working with an old Morse code machine. Under the code name Agent Brutus, he sent out encrypted messages, but not to the Allies, but to the enemy, the Nazi German army. The irony was that these seemingly harmless reports were the tools of one of the greatest deception campaigns in history. Czerniawski was nurturing a fictional narrative, a perfect script about a phantom American army led by the legendary General George Patton. This story was meticulously crafted, filled with authentic but entirely fabricated details designed to deceive Hitler and the German High Command, making them believe that the Allies' largest invasion would take place at Pas de Calais, hundreds of miles from the Normandy beaches. Brutus's reports became an indispensable part of Operation Fortitude, a large-scale deception plan coordinated by British MI5 and American intelligence agencies. The goal was not a battlefield victory, but a triumph in psychological warfare, forcing the Germans to move and hold their strongest armored divisions at the wrong location. With each Morse code line sent, Czerniawski was not just a spy, but an artist painting a fictional war scene where inflatable tanks and fake radio signals became a mighty army poised to attack. To understand Czerniawski's significance, we must look back at the context of a steadfast patriot. Roman Czerniawski was not a born spy. He was a Polish Air Force officer, a man who witnessed his country being crushed by the Nazi blitzkrieg. That pain and helplessness drove him to find every possible way to keep fighting. His love for his homeland transformed him from an officer into a silent warrior, someone willing to do anything, even play the role of a traitor to protect his country and comrades. The story of Brutus is a classic example of the difference between military might and strategic intellect. While Hitler believed victory could only be achieved through force, the Allies realized that a carefully calculated lie could be more powerful than an army division. Czerniawski's success came not only from his bravery, but also from his deep understanding of the enemy's psychology. He knew Hitler would always seek a direct confrontation, and he exploited that weakness to deceive the enemy. The dark attic where Czerniawski worked was a powerful symbol of this silent war. No gunfire, no bombs, only the tapping of the Morse code machine and people hiding in the shadows. Yet it was there that they wrote a new chapter in human history. The story of Agent Brutus is not about betrayal, but about ultimate sacrifice and patriotism. It is the story of a man who used his intellect to secure victory in a war he did not directly fight on the battlefield. Wonderful, we will continue with part 2 of the story. Below is the detailed content about Roman Czerniawski's journey, approximately 500 words. The journey of a Polish soldier, from homeland to a dying France. To understand Roman Czerniawski's motivations and extraordinary resilience, we must step back in time to his origins. Born in 1910 in Ukraine, then part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, Czerniawski's life was intertwined with Poland's historical upheavals. After Poland gained independence, he pursued a military career and joined the Air Force. With talent and sharp intellect, he quickly rose through the ranks, graduating from the prestigious Warsaw War Academy. Those years of training equipped him not only with tactical knowledge, but also with the steely resolve of a soldier ready to fight for his homeland. In September 1939, everything changed abruptly. Poland was attacked by Nazi Germany, marking the start of World War II. With the brutal blitzkrieg tactics, the German army swiftly crushed Polish resistance. Czerniawski witnessed his country's collapse firsthand. The pain and helplessness did not break him, but instead forged an even stronger determination he would never surrender. Czerniawski, along with many comrades, decided to continue the fight from exile, seeking safer grounds to reorganize their forces. His fight led him to France, where the war seemed momentarily subdued. However, that calm was short-lived. In 1940, the Germans advanced and quickly defeated the French army. Drawing from his homeland's experience, Czerniawski realized a critical truth. War was not only fought on battlefields, but also in the shadows through battles of information and counterintelligence. Determined to continue his silent resistance, he remained in France. It was here that Czerniawski began laying the foundation for his first intelligence network, Interallié. He did not work alone, but sought out like-minded individuals with the same patriotic zeal to form a network of spies. Their goal was clear: gather all possible intelligence on the Germans from the positions of their divisions and military bases to new technologies like radar. This was an incredibly dangerous mission, demanding immense courage and a willingness to take risks. With each step on this journey, Czerniawski proved he was more than an ordinary officer. He was a patriot, a brilliant strategist who overcame his country's collapse to become a silent warrior fighting with intellect rather than force. His journey from Poland to France was not merely a migration, but a transformation from an open combat soldier to a covert spy, laying the groundwork for his future great achievements. Continuing the story of Roman Czerniawski below is part 3, focusing on the creation and vulnerabilities of the Interallié intelligence network, approximately 500 words. Interallié, a network both mighty and fragile. After Nazi Germany occupied France, Roman Czerniawski, under the new alias Armand Bornet, set about building a covert intelligence network. This was no easy task. He collaborated with a charismatic and intelligent French woman, Mathilde Carré, known by her enigmatic codename, La Chat, the Cat. Together, they began recruiting spies from diverse walks of life. Factory workers, postal employees, and military officers still loyal to the French government. Czerniawski's persistence and talent yielded remarkable results. In a short time, the Interallié network grew rapidly, recruiting over 160 spies operating across France. Their primary goal was to gather critical intelligence on the German army. Czerniawski's agents risked their lives to track and report on the positions of German divisions. 22 were identified air bases, and notably, the development of new radar technology. To ensure the network's safety, they employed sophisticated and secretive communication methods. Spies avoided direct contact using safe houses to exchange information, sending handwritten reports hidden in secret dead drops, or even concealing undeveloped film rolls in ordinary packages sent to London. Their ingenuity and creativity allowed intelligence to bypass the tight control of the Gestapo and Abwehr, delivering valuable reports to the Allies. However, this rapid expansion became Interallié's fatal flaw. The network grew too large and lacked necessary compartmentalization. In his effort to broaden operations, Czerniawski allowed many spies to know each other, creating a significant risk. If one link was exposed, the entire system risked collapsing like dominoes. Despite Czerniawski's brilliance as a strategist in the perilous world of counterintelligence, a single mistake could cost lives. The fragility of Interallié was a stark warning about the nature of silent warfare. An overly large and loosely controlled network was not an asset, but a liability. Though it achieved significant successes, these inherent weaknesses foreshadowed a tragedy that would soon strike, thrusting Czerniawski into one of the greatest challenges of his espionage career. Betrayal and imprisonment, a fateful turning point. The collapse of the Interallié network came faster than anyone could imagine. Its critical weakness, lack of compartmentalization, was exploited by someone who should have been Czerniawski's most trusted ally. In late 1941, Mathilde Carré, known as La Shah, betrayed the entire network, handing over information to the Abwehr, Germany's military intelligence. The reasons for her betrayal remain a mystery, but its consequences were an irreversible disaster. Within a short time, the hunt began. Armed with Carré's information, the Abwehr and Gestapo swiftly captured Czerniawski and around 60 other spies. The scene was heartbreaking. A network built with immense effort and courage unraveled overnight. Czerniawski was arrested and taken to a secret prison where he faced brutal days of torture and interrogation. The Germans wanted him to reveal everything: the names of remaining members, hideouts, and the intelligence they had gathered. For 8 months in captivity, Czerniawski endured horrific physical and mental torture. Confined in a dark cell, deprived of food and water, he was relentlessly pressured to confess. Yet despite it all, this Polish officer held firm with steely resolve. He did not betray a single comrade. His resilience and unwavering loyalty stunned and even earned the respect of German officers. They realized Czerniawski was no ordinary spy. He was a man of iron will and deep intelligence knowledge. Seeing that torture was ineffective, the Abwehr changed tactics. They offered a deal if Czerniawski agreed to cooperate and become a double agent for Germany. They would spare his life and even bring him to Berlin to work. It was a risky proposal, but Czerniawski saw an opportunity. He realized this was the only way to survive and continue fighting. Instead of surrendering, he devised a cunning plan. He would pretend to accept the offer, but turn it into a chance to work for the Allies. By accepting the deal, Czerniawski not only saved his life, but also laid the foundation for his new role as Agent Brutus. This was one of the boldest and riskiest decisions of his career. It required him to play the part of a traitor, facing suspicion from both sides, but it also opened the door to one of the greatest deception campaigns in war history. The betrayal and imprisonment were not the end, but a fateful turning point, transforming a captured officer into a legendary double agent. Wonderful. Below is part 5 of the story, focusing on Roman Czerniawski becoming a double agent and his critical role in Operation Fortitude, approximately 500 words. Agent Brutus, the greatest deceiver in history. After agreeing to work for the Abwehr, Roman Czerniawski was taken to Lisbon, Portugal, with the ultimate goal of being transferred to Berlin. However, instead of following the path laid out by the Germans, he executed a daring plan to escape and contact the Allies. In 1943, Czerniawski arrived in London, England. He immediately approached the British counterintelligence agency MI5 and revealed his entire story, from his capture and torture to his agreement to work for Germany. Initially, MI5 was highly cautious. A spy captured, tortured, and then released by the Germans. It was too suspicious. They interrogated Czerniawski, rigorously scrutinizing every word. However, his honesty and deep intelligence knowledge convinced them. MI5 realized they had not just a refugee, but a potential intelligence treasure. Czerniawski was given a new codename, Brutus, after the Roman statesman infamous for betrayal. Becoming Brutus placed Czerniawski at the heart of one of the most complex deception plans in war history, Operation Fortitude. The goal was simple yet immensely challenging: convince the German army that the main Allied invasion would occur at Pas-de-Calais, the shortest route from England, rather than Normandy. As a double agent, Brutus's task was to provide convincing but fabricated intelligence to the Abwehr. He sent detailed reports about a non-existent phantom army, FUSAG, 1st United States Army Group, commanded by General George Patton, whom the Nazis greatly feared. In these reports, Brutus described the positions of fake military units, numbers of inflatable tanks, and fabricated radio signals to create a complete picture of a massive force preparing to attack. Czerniawski worked closely with a network of other double agents, including the legendary Garbo, to craft a unified and intricate story. Each contributed small pieces, making the FUSAG narrative entirely believable. Thanks to Czerniawski's cunning and his team's efforts, the Nazis were spectacularly deceived. They believed in an invasion that never happened and kept a massive military force at Pas-de-Calais, making the D-Day landings at Normandy far smoother. Czerniawski's bravery and audacity transformed him from a hunted soldier into a pivotal figure in the war. The impact of Fortitude changing the war. The success of Operation Fortitude and Agent Brutus's pivotal role cannot be measured in mere numbers. It completely altered the course of the D-Day invasion and the entire campaign to liberate Europe. With the false intelligence provided by Czerniawski and other double agents, the Nazi high command made a fatal strategic error. They concentrated most of their defensive forces in the wrong location. On June 6, 1944, when thousands of Allied troops landed on the Normandy beaches, the Germans were caught entirely off guard. Instead of facing the full might of the German army, the Allies encountered only a single panzer division. Why? Because Hitler fully believed in the story of General Patton's Phantom Army. He thought the Normandy landings were a diversion with the real attack to follow at Pas-de-Calais. This deception led Germany to keep the 15th Army and over 200,000 troops, including elite armored divisions, at Pas-de-Calais for weeks afterward. Although D-Day succeeded, the Normandy battles remained fierce. However, the absence of a robust defensive force gave the Allies enough time and space to secure the beaches, establish a strong beachhead, and advance inland. Brutus's reports about fake units like the 4th Army in Scotland created a perfect smokescreen, paralyzing the German high command and preventing timely responses. Even after D-Day was clearly a real attack, many senior German officers still believed a second landing would occur at Pas-de-Calais as per Fortitude's script. This indecision and division gave the Allies an incredible advantage. The success of Operation Fortitude is a powerful testament to the strength of psychological warfare and intelligence. It showed that sometimes a carefully crafted lie can be more powerful than an army. Roman Czerniawski, a soldier once captured and seemingly defeated, became one of the most critical figures in ensuring the success of Operation Overlord. His role in deceiving the Germans saved thousands of lives and shortened the war, contributing immensely to the Allies' ultimate victory. Legacy and the bitter fate of a hero. The Allied victory did not bring a happy ending for everyone. For Roman Czerniawski, a soldier who dedicated his life to his country, fate was cruel. After the war, his homeland Poland fell under Soviet control. The communist government established in Poland viewed him as a Western spy and an enemy of the regime. Czerniawski, a Polish patriot who operated under British auspices, could not return home. His only option was to live a reclusive life in London. For years after the war, this silent hero lived in obscurity, earning a living as a printer. He could not share his story with anyone. His role in Operation Fortitude and the codename Brutus remained a closely guarded military secret. Czerniawski's life was a tragedy of war, a man who gave everything to save his country only to be rejected by it. It was not until 1972, when historian J.C. Masterman's book, The Double Cross System, was published, that Czerniawski's story was revealed to the world. The book disclosed the entire network of MI5's double agents in World War II, including Brutus's indispensable role. Czerniawski's true identity was finally recognized, but he had waited nearly 3 decades for the deserved acknowledgement. Despite his modest life, Czerniawski was honored by both Poland and Britain with prestigious medals. Britain awarded him the Order of the British Empire, MBE, and Poland bestowed upon him the Order of Polonia Restituta. These were belated but significant recognitions of his extraordinary contributions. Yet for a man who lost his homeland and lived in the shadows for so long, these honors could not erase the pain he endured. Roman Czerniawski passed away in 1985. His legacy lies not only in the medals, but in the lesson of the power of intellect, resilience, and patriotism. From a defeated Polish officer, he became one of history's most effective spies, using cunning to deceive the enemy and change the fate of millions. Czerniawski's story reminds us that the greatest heroes sometimes fight not with guns, but with secrets held close to their hearts. The Eternal Legacy of Agent Brutus. The story of Roman Czerniawski, or Agent Brutus, is not just a thrilling chapter in intelligence history, but a profound lesson in resilience, patriotism, and the power of intellect. From a defeated Polish officer, he rose to become one of World War II's most effective spies, proving that even in the most desperate circumstances, a path to victory can be found. Czerniawski's journey was a series of unexpected and risky events. He began with a small intelligence network was betrayed and seemed to face an end. Yet instead of accepting defeat, he turned captivity and torture into opportunity. By pretending to collaborate with the enemy, he created a new role for himself, a double agent operating within the enemy's ranks to serve a just cause. His role in Operation Fortitude is the clearest testament to his brilliance. The false reports he sent deceived the entire Nazi high command, convincing them of a non-existent phantom army. This deception gave the Allies an unimaginable strategic advantage, ensuring the success of the D-Day invasion and paving the way for Europe's liberation. Though thousands of soldiers fought on Normandy's beaches, their victory was largely secured by a lone man quietly working in a London attic. Yet Czerniawski's story is also a tragedy of a forgotten hero. After the war, he could not return to his homeland and lived in obscurity. Only years later was his role acknowledged. This reflects how amid the Cold War and complex political shifts, those who sacrificed the most often received the least glory. The Czerniawski's legacy is not in medals or fame, but in the proof of the importance of information warfare and deception tactics. He reshaped the view of war from a conflict reliant on military might to a battle of intellect and cunning. His story forever reminds us that the greatest heroes are sometimes not those who wield weapons, but those who shape the course of war from the shadows. Ultimately, Czerniawski's story is a call to action for us all. It challenges us to rethink definitions of achievement and sacrifice. It invites us to delve deeper into untold stories, about the silent heroes who gave everything to protect their ideals.